Hello and welcome everybody. What's happening today in Europe? Is this the sign of the end of Europe as we know, or is just a hard time going to pass? We're going to see the different opinion on the subject and point out where is the problems lie. If you ask Muslim, they will say we just want to live in peace and coexist with others. But they forgot to see that the problem lies in the text and scriptures that they hanging on, and they want to oppose it on other people. Only way to change this, we need a gradual change that might take a long time. Don't wait for this problem going to solve in one day and one night. These texts have built upon a specific culture, and this culture does have to be changed. And to change this one, we need a collective effort from everybody. You don't need to rely on the government to come and change for you things. You see, when you ask a Muslim why you come in here, if you need to apply the Sharia laws, why don't you go back to your country? People who ask this question to a Muslim, they don't understand Muslims. I was a Muslim and I understand them very well. If you came to me and asked me this question when I was a Muslim and a true believer, my answer to you, it will be very simple. This is the land of Allah, and it's ruled by Al-Kuffar and unbeliever temporarily until Allah help us and we open it and we make it the land of the Islam. The true Muslim believer does not believe this is the land of the Germany or the land of France or UK or Canada. No, he considers this land of Allah. So when you come to him and tell him this question, it's like you telling him to go out from the land of Allah. He considers the land he came to live in is the land of Islam, and Allah who promised one day that land to them, and he doing his best to bring this day quicker. So when you ask him that specific question, he look at you like you are crazy and you don't know what you talking about. How we going out and we want to stay here and we want to grow our population and do da'wah and convert people to the religion and build mosque and raise the adhan in the city of the kuffar. He consider you as a crazy and you don't see the bigger picture here, and you don't know understand his vision of the future. This Muslim, he believe he have the ultimate truth, believe that he is right and Allah with him. Anyone disagree with the Islam teaching, he is dull or going a wrong way. He believe in his heart Allah wants him to do that, and he is who create the seven heaven and the seven earths happy with him. You are here not debating or arguing with one person or one individual. You are debating with a load of ideas and values that these people have been raised on and their conviction that they arrive to. This cult that he brought up in from his childhood. These conviction and cults that have to be changed. It's not going to change by changing the law and expelling the extremists and terrorists and closing the mosque and stopping the immigrants. And suddenly like that, the problem all going to be solved. You are here just treating the symptoms of this problem, not the whole problem, because things going to go back as normal as it was before. That's why we need a drastic change. When I compare myself now and 10 years ago, I could be one of the terrorists that commit a terrorist attack when I was truly Muslim believer. If someone came to me the time when I was Muslim truly believer and persuade me and help me to do that, I could do it. It's normal because you believe you are right and the truth is with you. It's like the companion who go kill the poets that was insulting the Prophet. He was in a high psychological state of a faith that he could not question what he was doing. It feel like he won a big prize and you have done a great deed with Allah, which going to guarantee you paradise because he chose you from all other human beings to be a martyr for him and his messenger. This was normal to me when I was truly Muslim believer, and this cult that has to be changed. If a person come into a country and raise up his children on a cult of difference, on a cult accepting the difference, we won't have all solve this problem. And the message here, especially to the immigrant parents, father and mothers, if you allow your children to grow up in a cult that accept the difference, things will be better. There is no a problem if somebody does not share your opinion or different from you. It does not matter if he does not sanctify what you believe to be true and to be sacred. It's not important. If you sanctify your religion, that is your choice and you are free to do so. But don't oppose that on other people. Live your life and leave other alone, to live them life in the peace. Other people are not obliged to sanctify your religion and your religious symbols. The left in the Western country have a big problem to solve, being castrated and living in a big contradictions. The left demand the freedom and the rights of a person, but in the same time they shut up the mouth from speaking. So you're not allowed to speak out against Islam. This left we have, he make the victim as a criminal because you criticizing the ideology that want to kill you. When you ask for a freedom of speech and you make exception, we can't call this one as a freedom of speech anymore. And here the problem is lie in the system of immigration that have been used with this Western country. I am not against the immigration, but against the immigration that bring to you a different value from yours. This Western country is built up on values and principles of freedom of speech, freedom of the person, equality, justice, and the right to believe and not to believe. Because of this principle, we are living in the peace. When you bring a million of people have a different value from yours and sometimes abuse your values and principles, here you are threatening the future of this country by the percentage of these people they come in, and they bring with them a different values from yours. If you see those million people that come into Germany, the most of them are economic migrants before they were a political refugees or a genuine Syrian people running from the war. Without saying furthermore here, but we can say that most of them are Muslims. These majority Muslims come in with a value that says that Allah and His Messenger and all Muslims have to hate the Jew people, and the man and the woman are not equal, the boy and the girls are not equal, and everybody does not believe in Allah is kafir, and he is a najas or a dirty. People might say you are generalizing things here. I will just tell you, go to look in the language or the dialect of these people. For example, I am from Morocco, and in our dialect and the slang language, we said a Jewish people death, it's like a happy day, and we say to the dead animal a jifa, a name coming from a Jewish name of the Jew. The Muslim have a very terrible hostility to the Jew that cannot be explained, and it is unbelievable if you were living with them one day and you understand how they believe. So when you bring these people in a country have a value of a freedom of speech, justice and equality, they're going to abuse your value and principles. This is why there should be a draft laws that oblige the immigrants when they come into a country that they should be accept the principles and the value the country they want to immigrate to. Otherwise, don't go there. Either you accept the value and the principle that the country that you go into, or you choose another country. This is better for you and better for other people. This is look to me as justice and more logical solution, because if you don't apply this approach, you will have a problem in the future. Already start occurring in the West. When you see in some big city in Europe, they have a big district or a place that have a lot of Muslim people live together, you will find a lot of problem down there. Why do you think they prefer to live together? Because they want to have an election power. These people, when they want to apply the Sharia law in them place where they live in, you as a politician, you have no chance to win if you don't accept them values. Either you're going to be agree to this value and principle that these people bring with them because they become the majority in that place, or you're going to lose the election. In this case, a Muslim man come in and he said, I am with the Sharia laws. They they will vote for him by 99%. They're going to put him in the parliament so he can make a draft law in the parliament saying that we need to apply the Sharia law in Islamic regions. Then you go take it from his mouth. Some might come and say, no, this is not happening now. Who knows after 10 years or 20 or 40 or even 100 years what's going to happen. The situation now is going to a dangerous way. Douglas Murray did a good job predicting the strange deaths of Europe. If it keep going that way, it will be led to her death, because what we have now is a clash of values that keep escalating and escalating more and more. Can you imagine now in the swimming pool and sauna in some area in Germany? They are scaring from the migrant, because Muslim does not have the idea if he see a naked woman, he's just going to pass by and go do his things. No, he does not have this idea in his head, because he want to change it. As the Prophet said, who sees something bad, he have to change it with his hand if he can, with his sword if he can, or hand if he can't with his mouth, then if he can't with his heart. I mean, he have to hate what he see and hate people who doing it. We all heard once upon a time women get harassed when they passed by area that were concentrated by Muslims. I see in YouTube one experiment done by a Jewish man in France. He passed in a district full with Muslim and he get harassed and insulted and shout on, even he get abused physically. This is already not normal, and we're talking about now. What's going to happen in Europe when the percentage of Muslim going to jump from 4% to 12 or 18% in the future? And it will be hard for a woman to pass in some area without a veil, because in these people mind and value in the Islam, a woman wearing a sexy or does not wear hijab is a prostitute. This is how Muslim men and women look at the woman of unbeliever. All they are same and all they are prostitutes. There is a places now in the heart of Europe, if you see them, they look like a Taliban or Somalia. I remember a group of young Muslim men coming out in Germany street and making the police of the street or the police of Sharia law in the street. This might seem to you funny now, but it's a bad sign and what's going to happen in the future. So when you think deeply what's happening now and you think about the future, you see a dark picture. The percentage of the Muslim always rising up and up. You know how the statistic works? And Muslim obsessed with sex and birth. All this war that happened in the past, and we gain a great deal of values from them. Support equality and freedom for people, going to be destroyed by Muslim in a short amount of time. These values what keeps us all living together with peace. And we cannot just leave the barbaric ideology to destroy it. Just to be clear here, I am not against the immigration because I am immigrant myself. But I am against the immigration that bring you different value from yours. If you want to come in Europe or France or England or Canada or Africa, you have to accept the principle and the value of that country. Everyone make their value, and anyone coming to live in that country have to accept value of that country. And we're never going to have problem like people coming out and you say you hurt our feeling, or we want to apply our Sharia laws in our places. This is just disorder. The problem is not in the immigration, the problem in the system of the immigration itself, that bring people but they never check if they are agree to the value and the principle the country that they want to go to. I don't know, this is a big problem for me and for everybody. I am just here looking from above to see the flaws. Thank you guys for your time and see you again.